Welcome back to Let Him Cook, everyone. My name is Matthew. Got a really good episode for you today. All right, I'm joined today by two wonderful guests. And just to recap, Let Him Cook is a show where we bring out what's up here into real life. All right, we're gonna do a quick recap of what we're gonna need for this recipe. All right, we're gonna do fresh cavatelli pasta. The sauce for this pasta is gonna be a caramelized onion and hot Italian sausage sauce, ragu, what have you. All right, some properly caramelized, roasted, cooked mushrooms. And another thing that I've really always wanted to try is miso and beer braised onions. I have two kinds of boiler onions here. I have red and white, but you can do whichever ones you find. We'll play around with the garnishes and we'll see what looks good. All right, first things first, we're gonna get the pasta going because that has to rest for an hour after you make it. My recipe tends to go a little bit longer than most because I work it pretty well, and you wanna let it rest an appropriate amount of time before you roll it into the pasta. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna go in with our pasta. All right, this is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. To our flour here, got 3 whole eggs. You can do a little bit of olive oil, maybe like a tablespoon or so. And a few good pinches of kosher salt. Mine has a little black pepper mixed in with it, but if yours don't, that's fine as well. You take a fork, yeah.
Does it have to be room temperature eggs?
No.
Okay.
I haven't found it made a difference.
Okay.
It could be whatever. I kind of want to try this with duck eggs, but I don't know if the size would make a difference as well.
Beautiful.
So I guess that was the first pasta I ever made, but most of it was experimentation. You know, you can't get good results. And it's at this point when it's kind of in solid chunks that you can really kind of go a little crazy with it. I don't know, now it looks kind of crazy, but now's the perfect time. Put this away, just go in with your hands. It's gonna feel really sticky and really weird at first, but the more you incorporate that flour, the better it'll be. And you can get all of this that's on the surface into the dough eventually. It'll all work itself in there. Just keep pushing it, pressing it. The main goal at this point is to hydrate all of the flour that you had in that well. To get to this point, when you press your finger into it, it holds that shape, right? But after it's rested, you'll be able to do that again. It'll immediately bounce back. It's a well-rested, well-hydrated ball of dough for what we're gonna use it for. So we have our sliced onions right here. I have a preheated Dutch oven right here. I have about a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of avocado oil in here. You can use olive oil, whatever vegetable oil you want to use. I like to use avocado oil because it has a higher smoke point. So we have our boiler onions here. We want to put them in a pot of boiling water for about 60 seconds. Put them into some ice water or just some cold running water, and then it'll be as easy as pinching the tips of them off, and then the skins will come right off, and then we have perfect whole onions. So we have our boiler onions right here. And you just want to put them into an ice bath. It stops the cooling process and helps the skin come off real easy, as either tearing it in half like that, So this has only been about 20 minutes worth of cook time on these onions. It's on a medium to low heat. You don't want to go any more than that. You don't want to get any like huge coloring on it. At this point in the cooking process, I'm going to go ahead and add about a decent palmful of minced sage, chopped sage real fine. And a few good pinches of salt. So we have our mushrooms here. You can use whatever combination of mushrooms you enjoy. Today I'm using white beach mushrooms. We're gonna use brown beach mushrooms, and one of my favorites is maitake. All I'm gonna do is just cut them right in half. Just use your hands and separate them piece by piece. You don't really have to cut these ones as much. You want us to be able to see the individual mushrooms. The thing with maitake is they'll typically grow in these rose-shaped formations. You can just pluck them off as you would the petals on a flower. So we have our mushroom mixture here, all the mushrooms that we just cut up. All right, you want to add them to a ripping hot pan. There should be almost smoke coming from your pan. I have about a quarter to a half cup of avocado oil in the bottom of the pan there. It should be almost smoking with how hot this pan is. Throw your mushrooms into the pan and just let it rip. In the same pan we cooked our mushrooms in, I'm gonna go ahead and brown our hot Italian sausage. I have about 1 pound here, 16 ounces. You're gonna wanna keep that in block form. One side, flip it as best you can, brown the other side. Treat it almost like a steak, if you will. You get a lot better color and browning that way, all over the sausage in the final result. So to build a sauce for our pasta, I'm going to take about 3/4 of our caramelized onions out of the pan, add them to the base of a blender with some other stuff I'll explain in a second. And that once you puree that, that's going to be the sauce for the pasta, as well as braising liquid that we're going to braise our boiler onions in. That'll impart a lot of good flavor into it. It'll be a good garnish for our pasta here. We're gonna go ahead and get started on the braising liquid for our boiler onions, which will also double act as the sauce for our pasta overall for the cavatelli. All right. All we did to these onions is we just boiled them, de-skimmed them, and now they're here, still 90% raw. All right, but we want to braise them and bring out that natural sweetness that all onions have. So we have all of our caramelized onions right here. I'm gonna add about 3/4 of these to the base of our blender. About half a cup of beef stock. All right, I have more here. You can add more, just depending on how loose you want your sauce to be. Got about 3.5 to 4 tablespoons of miso paste right here. And also, this is gonna be gochujang, about another 4 tablespoons or so. This This is a fermented chili paste that I like to use in this application for pastas. It's very, very good in pastas. So we have all those ingredients in the blender right here. If you need to add just a little bit of water to thin it out a little bit, go ahead and do that. But you want to make sure it's all blended well and then add this to the pot with those boiler onions from before. So we have our pureed sauce here. Add this to the pot with the onions. Go ahead and add the extra beef stock in there. About half a can of Guinness. Blend this again to clean out the inside of your blender and add that to the rest of the sauce. So our boiler onions are braising in that miso gochujang beer mixture. All right, we have our pasta dough that's been resting for well over a half hour. Nice and relaxed, very spongy, springs back when you poke it. From here, you just kind of want to work it with your hands. We're trying to make long ropes with it. I might need a little work to get it to the shape you want it. You want it to be a little bit on the thinner side. Just cut that out. Went through all that work. We have our cooked cavatelli pasta here. All right, beautifully rolled out. We have the braising liquid that we cooked our boiler onions in. That's got the miso, the beer, gochujang, all that good stuff in it. We're gonna add a little sauce to the pasta, and then just add in all the elements we were cooking before: the caramelized onions, the boiler onions, the spicy Italian sausage, and our cooked mushrooms as well. So we have our finished pasta right here, and we're gonna go ahead and plate it. As always, we have our plain white plate and our special vessel along with it. I just have some microgreens here. This is both red and green daikon radish sprouts. All right, they're a little peppery. You know, use whatever garnishes you like. You know, this is what I think would look good on here because there is no green on this plate as of yet. So, you know, these colors in tandem with the pasta might make it look pretty good. Got our finished product here. All right, we've got the handmade cavatelli pasta, spicy Italian sausage, the assortment of mushrooms in there with the miso and beer braised onions. This looks really, really good. Ready to eat?